The last thing I want to mention is the lack of certain features and how some features are in like one game and they're really well received and they're loved by many and then removed in like the next entry. Maybe they'll be brought back later on, maybe they won't. You know, stuff like walking Pokemon, the Pokemon following behind you, triple and rotation battles, inverse battles, kinda, and the Dex Nav, stuff like that, and how it just seems like we keep removing shit and the franchise takes like 5 steps forward, 5 steps back, Masuda said he wanted to do this because of the fact that, oh, well, it means that every generation is different. Every generation has its own thing, even though the Pokemon keep increasing and we have all the Pokemon in the games, so maybe that logic was flawed. Now we're just not going to do that now. So there you go, even though it means you get less content. So that's nice, I guess. See, it's just, my problem with that logic is you're saying, so you take a lot of steps forward with your quality of life changes, like the Dex Nav, or changes that make the world feel more alive, like having your Pokemon out. Because if I were on an adventure, I'd at least let like maybe 1 or 2 of my Pokemon out. I understand letting all 6 out might be a bit ridiculous. I would love a game that lets us have all 6 of our party out, but I understand that would be a nightmare to process, especially on the Switch, so okay, fine. That's off the table. But having 1, just 1, alright? Really? Is that really so bad? Because we had it in Let's Go. Yeah, okay, we had the partner Pokemon at all times, but we still had another Pokemon out. Like, if I wanted to have Mew out, I could just say, yeah, I want him to walk around with me. And I could do that. It doesn't even matter if he's like the first in my party. Even if he's not the first in my party, he can still be out. And I love that feature. I love that to death. It's such a great feature. And they're removing it. They're removing it for Sword and Shield right after we got it back. The Dex Nav. Now, I'm not sure if this will come back. We haven't seen any evidence that it won't. But we haven't seen any evidence that it will. So I'm going to assume that either a crappy equivalent will be there or nothing will be there at all. Even though Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was the first game I completed the Pokédex in. And you want to know why that was? It was because the Dex Nav is so goddamn convenient. It is so awesome. I love it. In fact, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire actually had like the sneaking around. You could sneak around the Pokemon, see if you can get it from a certain angle. If you caught a Pokemon on the Pokédex, you actually can look up data from it if you see it in the wild, shaking its tail or whatever. Some of that stuff they are bringing back from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Alright, nice. I really wish they brought the Dex Nav back. It was just such a useful feature, and yeah, I know the Pokénav is sort of exclusive to Hoenn. You're telling me Rotom doesn't have the capabilities? Yes, I know Rotom has somewhat of an equivalent, as Sun and Moon has, like, if you go into the Pokédex, you can look at this Pokemon's habitat. If you hadn't seen the Pokemon previously, Rotom will say, hey, I've never seen this one before. It's not quite the same. I know there's no dual screens, but you can't have, since we have full 3D movement, why can't we press, like, I don't know, one of the triggers, or the select button, or one of the, directional buttons to bring up, like, a Dex Nav menu, or something along those lines. I just think it would be a nice feature. Now, to be fair, by the time the game, because the game's not out yet, it could be in there and we just haven't fucking seen it. In fact, I believe there's a 24-hour stream that's supposed to happen for Pokemon Sword and Shield. We may even see it there. So maybe this video will probably be outdated. I probably should have waited. Oh well. If I got something wrong, fuck me. All right. I didn't watch it yet, so I didn't see it. I mean, I'm not gonna buy the game, but I'll still see it just because I'm at least slightly curious. This franchise will never let me go. But still, fact remains, they may put it in the game, but I highly doubt they will. They didn't do it for Sun and Moon. Not really sure why, but they didn't. Like, again, you couldn't have brought up, like, a menu or something. Pokepelago. Love it. Like, one of the things I will defend about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I don't like the game still. I hate what it does to the story. I hate what it does to Lily. I hate what it does to Lusamine. I hate what it does to a lot of shit. If there is one thing I will defend is the ease of use and the ease of getting into the tournament scene, in a sense. Here's what I mean. Now, you're not going to be like an instant expert at the tournament scene, no. But getting ready for competitive battling has never been easier. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon makes it so much easier. There are still things I would like to see improved, which they can easily do. In fact, even Let's Go actually did a few improvements, like bottle caps. It is a lot easier to get them in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon than it is in the original Sun and Moon. Because in the original Sun and Moon, it was a bit obtuse. It was really hard to get. Yeah, I know there are some workarounds, but like generally, like one of the things you can do is if you get like a 2-star lottery slot or lottery shop, and then like keep disassembling it and rebuilding it, you can get a shit ton of bottle caps. I've done it, but it's easier to do in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because it's easier to get FC points because of a feature they added where you can actually get rental Pokemon and battle with those Pokemon from the people that you see in your festival plaza. You use those Pokemon, you battle, and you get like 200 or 400 festival coins. It's amazing, and it's so much easier to use that exploit. Yeah, sure, it probably wasn't intentional, but it's still nice. It's still a thing, because festival coins were always a bitch to get in the original, at least from what I remember. They also have every Mega Stone there, they have every Z Crystal there, all of the Pokemon at the time were in it. It was just so much, you know, Pokepelago also was still there, and Pokepelago is amazing. I'm not going to go into what it does. Maybe I'll link to what but it does so much for you. It makes EVs easy to use. Berries are so easy to get. It's so convenient, and I love it. And it's not gonna be in Sword and Shield. Maybe there will be an equivalent. Like I do know there's this like weird mini game. I forget what it's known as. Future Me, could you like put in like pictures or clips and tell people what it is? Thanks. I don't know what it is. Maybe that'll be a replacement? Whether it'll be better or not, I'm not really sure. But honestly, I thought Pokepelago was perfect. And I even actually can imagine a way to justify it being in other regions. Mon, who is the person, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Mon, who is the person who, spoiler warning for Sun and Moon, is actually Lily and Galadian's father and Lusamine's husband, and the cause for all the shit that goes down since he got sucked into a wormhole, ended up on shore, and hence Pokepelago. That's pretty fucking dark. But Mon could like expand, they could come up with some kind of justification and also be sort of a sequel to Sun and Moon in a way, just a little bit, where he found Lusamine, maybe got a bit of his memories back, and like him, Galadian, and Lusamine, maybe Lily actually like used Aether Foundation, or he went to Aether Foundation or went somewhere to expand his business after so many trainers, or maybe your trainer from Sun and Moon said, yeah, this place is great. You know, he recommended it to so many other people, and Mon's business started booming, so he expanded to other regions. There you go. Minor little sequel to Sun and Moon, little tidbit here and there. It doesn't have to do, it could just be like a little subplot at best, or a little thing saying, yeah, this happened, and now I have all this. You don't even have to show it. It could just be, yeah, I wanted to expand my service to other regions, so Pokepelago is here to stay. But they're probably not going to do that, because I know Pokemon. They're probably going to ditch it. These are things that should not be ditched. These are quality of life changes that should stay. This isn't talking about rideable Pokemon. though that should probably stay. Or, you know, riding a bike on water, which, yeah, okay, is pretty awesome. Or secret bases, which I love secret bases in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but I can understand why they stay in Hoenn and Sinnoh. Because, you know, Sinnoh is very mountainous. Hoenn is a tropical setting. I kind of understand why maybe they're only in those generations. Okay, fine. And to be fair, we have camping, which I honestly find more interesting, since you can literally camp anywhere. So, okay, cool. But it's just like, I don't, like, these are, like, the Dex Nav, Pokemon walking behind you, and, well, okay, the second one is a bit debatable, but, like, Pokepelago, stuff like that I think is great. Can there be some improvements? Absolutely, but you can't improve on something if you ditch it. And I feel like these things should stay so they can be improved, so they can be better, so they can improve the franchise and the gameplay. But they're not doing that. And it's because of their insistence to keep things, like, to make each game have different features that the other lacks. That just makes me miss the older entries. It's because, what, I lack a feature? But that doesn't improve it. That's not a way to evolve the series. I understand that it's like a yearly release thing, which I have issues with, but, like, as Arlo stated, like, because of the yearly releases and because of this mindset, it is impossible for the franchise to truly evolve. Ha ha ha, I know the jokes write themselves, I know. Hashtag, Cody is the greatest comedian ever. Truly, I have made the most original joke, but I'm serious. Like, it's impossible for a franchise to evolve this way, especially when there are things that help it evolve, and then they take them away and replace them with something worse. The PSS system, or whatever the hell it's called, future me, just put it down somewhere because I forget the name because I'm stupid. That system was really convenient. What did they replace it with? The Festival Plaza, which not many people enjoy. It's better in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but only because it's easier to exploit. Ay. Okay. Alright, well, that's one. How about, you know, replacing the bike with rideable Pokemon in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Okay, you know, that's something, except now if you don't have a Pokemon that is decently fast and rideable, you're moving at a snail's pace. See, it was fine in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and Sun and Moon, because you had a Tauros at all time. Yeah, it popped out of fucking nowhere, but really, does realism really matter? In Pokemon especially? This is a franchise about kids who use dangerous animals with superpowers that are probably worse than a fucking nuke, and they use them in cockfights. Legalized cockfights. Is realism really an importance at that point? Really? I don't understand why they insist on, oh, well, see, they have to have this game has to have this, but we're going to take away this. No, I'm not saying a generation has to have everything, but there are some things that you shouldn't get rid of. And the only reason you should ever want to get rid of something is if it doesn't work. Like, the structure of the games before Sun and Moon was different. I mean, Sun and Moon still follows a, you know, oh, get these things, get these MacGuffins, beat the evil team, you know, accomplish your goal, maybe help a side character, or help out the main villain and have him learn something. Generation 5 was very different. Generation 5 and Generation 7 are my favorite gens, and a lot of people love them story-wise and gameplay-wise. Well, gameplay-wise is debatable for the competitive scene, for some justified and unjustifiable reasons. But Generation 5 and 7 are often praised for doing something different. Generation 5, the evil team was the main focus. N was the main focus. That's not a bad change. You're changing up the base structure, whereas every Pokemon game was before Generation 5, get 8 badges, be the best like no one ever was, kick everyone's ass, beat an evil team, maybe capture a legendary here or two. Oh, you can do it again in Gold and Silver. Riveting. It's fun, but a bit basic. Generation 5 comes along. It has a much more complex story that, you know, some people like and some people don't. I personally love it. But also they tie the Pokemon League challenge into the story with N. He says, I'll be the champion and I'll force everybody to release their Pokemon, and I will influence the world. I will change the world to make it how I see it. And I will be an inspiration as a king. And so if you want to stop me, you have to beat the Pokemon League challenge. He challenges you, essentially. And so, yeah, you kick everyone's ass, you fight the evil team, but you also have a reason to fight this time. Hell, you don't even fight the champion. The champion is a wash-up. He's not who he used to be. After losing his starter Pokemon and becoming so strong, after losing his starter, he's so devastated, he's nowhere near the champion he used to be. Yeah, he's still a really good trainer, he's still powerful, he's not to be underestimated, but he's probably one of the weakest champions in the series when it comes to power-wise. There's a story reason for it, too. Hell, he's beaten by N and U. And later beaten by Iris. Should show everything. You didn't fight the champion. You didn't technically win the Pokemon League. N did. So, you know, that was different. The evil team even had like a final dungeon after the Elite Four. That's different. That's a good change because you're changing up the structure. You don't want the structure of every game you make to be the same. Sun and Moon is probably the most radical departure because there are no gym badges. There's one gym leader and it isn't even a traditional gym, and it's optional. You never have to go there, and I don't even think it's in the original Sun and Moon. And you have instead you have trials, which are sort of like, I mean, they're sort of like puzzles in a way. It's weird. It's more story focused as well. You have a lot more cutscenes, there's more character interaction. Oh, you still have plenty of battling, even in the trials, and you even fight a boss monster. Like, not even like a gym leader, no, like an actual giant Pokemon as a boss. They're not very hard, and I think they could have done them better, but I still love the idea, and I still think a lot of the like, if you actually take a look at some of the movesets and some of the Pokemon that they're able to have call for help, like, they're able to call for help, they're really smartly designed. My only problem is I wish they had better defenses, because while they do get buffed stats, I don't think they're buffed enough. I kinda wish their defenses were a bit stronger or something like that. Like, they were more like traditional RPG bosses. But whatever, I'm nitpicking. Point is, it was a nice change of pace, it was something different, it was cool, it was new, and it changed up the structure and how the gyms, even though they weren't gyms, operate. For one trial, every trial you were doing something different that related to the person you know, who owns the trial, to each trial captain. There was also the kahunas, which operated more like a traditional gym battle, but it was more like a rite of passage to, like, okay, you beat me, I'm the best on the island, you can move on to another one. And the Pokemon League, before, after you beat the evil team, the Pokemon League was just a thing in concept for Alola. You are Alola's first champion. Kukui is not a champion, by the way. Make the unique thing of each game be the region, the story, the characters. Let that be the selling point of this generation. Not, sure, the Pokemon can also be a selling point, but the Pokemon, let's be honest here, that's like selling an Assassin's Creed game on killing people. We kind of expect that. It's Assassin's Creed. We're gonna kill people. The reason people want to play those games is what's also, like, yeah, killing people is a reason we play the games, but we also do it because we want to experience the story, what they do with it, what they do with the setting. They always have the settings based on real places like Egypt, or Greece, or America, or, pirates. Maybe space sometime. I would love that. But you know, the reason why people play the game still is, yes, to kill people, but also to see what they do with with history, how they what story they tell, what characters they have. Yes, some are better than others for it. I haven't played the series personally, but I've heard stories. But still, each one is different because of the place they're set in, the level design that comes with it, the story they tell. Even if they use the exact same gameplay, at least there's something different to it. I think the region alone can make it stand out. Yes, the Pokemon are also a selling point, but let's be honest here, the Pokemon are always a selling point. It's why you fucking play Pokemon. You know, the Pokemon aren't features you should just get rid of. I think you can have each game stand on its own while also evolving the franchise and taking steps to make the games better. I'm not saying you have to put every region in the game. At this point, the Pokemon world is so big with regions like the Galar region and the Pokemon Ranger regions and all of that, it's fundamentally impossible to do that unless you just keep adding to a game, and you know they're not going to do that. So, whatever. We don't need that. But if you're going to have each game have a different region with a different world, with a different setting, with a different, with different characters, let that be the selling point. You know? Let that be the selling point.